Enfield already have a Meteor 350, a cracking little seller for them. Now, they never had anything bigger in terms of a cruiser, but when you have the likes of the Interceptor 650, the Continental GT, which again utilises that 650 engine, did it not make perfect sense to put it in a cruiser body? Well, that is how we have the Super Meteor 650. So if you guys want to know all about the specs, all about the stats, what it's like for me to sit on, and what this bike looks like close up and in detail, then keep watching and I shall roll the intro.
First things first, how is a Super Meteor 650 priced? Well, that depends entirely on which Super Meteor you decide to go for. The least expensive is the Astral range, Astral Black, Astral Blue and Astral Green. Those are block colours and are priced at £6,799. Then things get a little bit fancier and a little bit pricier with the Interstellar options. Interstellar Grey and Interstellar Green will set you back £6,999. Finally, the most expensive Super Meteors in the range are the Celestial Red and Celestial Blue. What makes the Celestials warrant the price of £7,299? Well, you get a screen, chunkier seat and pillion backrest included in the price. Royal Enfield class them as more of a touring variant. The engine is a Euro 5 compliant, air and oil cooled 648cc parallel twin with 47 brake horsepower available at 7,250 rpm and 52 newton meters of torque at 5,250 rpm. 80% of it is available at 2,500 revs. Braking power is courtesy of Bybree, a sub-brand of Brembo dedicated to providing stoppers for small to medium displacement machines. We have a single 320mm disc up front with a twin piston floating caliper and a 240mm disc at the rear, again with a twin pot floating caliper. Not forgetting dual channel ABS as well. Suspension comes in the form of Showa, non-adjustable 43mm telescopic upside down forks and a preload adjustable twin rear shock. I rode the Super Meteor to this filming location and let me tell you, I was suitably impressed, especially when comparing it to the Interceptor that I rode recently. Glancing over to the tank, it can hold 15.7 litres of fuel.
If we switch the bike on, we have quite a nice dash. Now if we look here, we have the miles an hour around here, we have our fuel range around there, we have what gear we're in, we have the time, we have the odometer, and if we just press a button on the switch gear, we can rotate trip A, trip B, and then odometer. So it's very simplistic, but it is nice that we actually do have the time on this bike, because I was always searching for the time on the Interceptor, but it wasn't there. The smaller colourful dial on the right is a turn-by-turn tripper navigation, and it's just quite a nice dash. Now, only one thing that does confuse me a little bit is it doesn't show what your revs are, so there's no kind of way of knowing exactly what RPM the bike's running at. But other than that, I think it is a massive improvement on the Interceptor dash that I have previously seen. If we take a look at the switchgear is much more modern than on the Interceptor. We have the HNTR 350 style switchgear, which is a little bit more modern and just looks better. So guys, this bike has a seat height of 740mm, which I personally deem as quite low. You often find that cruiser bikes do have quite a low seat height, which is why a lot of people ride them, because they're very accessible. So for me, I am 5'4" with a 29-inch inside leg measurement, or inseam, however you want to call it. And this is what it looks like for me to sit on this bike. Okay, so I can sit on this bike completely flat-footed. It's actually quite nice to be able to flat-foot something for a change. The bike weighs 241 kilograms, so she's quite a weight. However, I feel like the weight is kind of negated by its seat height. For me personally, I will happily ride something that is stupidly tall if it's light enough, just like I'm happy to ride something that is pretty darn heavy if it's low enough.
Only I could get home to find that I accidentally recorded my push test in slow motion. The Super Meteor 650 weighs 241 kilograms wet. That is with oil and a tank that's 90% full. It is quite heavy on paper, but given that a lot of its weight is low to the ground, it doesn't make pushing it particularly difficult. The fact that the seat is so low also gives you the advantage of being able to paddle out of spaces with both feet firmly on the ground. That is, unless you are unlucky enough to be even smaller than I am.
Well, that brings me to the end of my walk around video on Royal Enfield's Super Meteor 650. Guys, what do you think of this cracking little machine? I want to know in the comments below. Do you like this? Would you go for one of these, or would you go for an Interceptor or a Continental GT? Let me know what your favourite 650 is that Royal Enfield produce. Well, on that note guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. If you have, please consider hitting the subscribe button, and until the next time, see you then. It's just, oh God, did you see that? I just got hit in the face by a fly. Well, that brings me to the end. Could you be any noisier? Did I just hear a man's voice? I sincerely hope not, because I'm too tired to fight anyone today. I mean, I'll give it a go. Jokes. Actually, if someone saw that, that might be enough to scare them away. Paranoia kicks in.